This is one of the craziest stories we've talked about on this channel. Do you remember Clare Moseley, the founder of Care4Calais, the so-called refugee charity? Well, she used to have an affair with that migrant in France. Well, things have escalated now because that man is now in Britain. So much has happened over the last couple of years, and some of it we've just discovered that it happened 2-3 years ago. It's all coming out now. Now, this is about what happened with Clare Moseley, the founder of Care4Calais. This was established around 2016 days, and she started this charity because, why not? And she's very privileged. She also started to have an affair with a so-called Syrian refugee, 20 years younger than her. Then we discovered he's not a Syrian refugee, this man Mahyar. He was in fact from Tunisia, and he was from a wealthy family. And then we discovered more stuff about him and his life. So firstly, he was lying to her about everything about his life, and he was trying to take money from her, up to a point where even Clare Moseley, the virtue signaler, she had to say, yeah, this is a little bit dodgy. So she broke it off, but he destroyed her family, her reputation. Then we discovered he already has some links with United Kingdom and Britannia. Now we know. This man is now in the UK. Yes. And he's married to another British woman. And he's got kids. And he's just chilling. I mean, I have no idea what's going on with the system, but this is what we're dealing with. So for Mahyar, this guy, who was jailed in France for attempted arson in 2017 after attempting to set fire to the Care4Calais warehouse in northern France, he is now happily living in the United Kingdom. He is actually, physically and literally a criminal. Having settled in Bolton, Greater Manchester, Mahyar married a 35-year-old Romanian receptionist, is actually now British, at a Manchester Register office in October 2021. She gave birth to their son just over a year ago. So by the way, this man has already been here for like 2-3 years, and we didn't know anything about it. Although we were told that he was already married to someone in Britain before, and then Claire found out, and Claire was upset, so she cried, and then Claire's husband found out. It was all chaotic anyway. But then now we have Craig McKinley, the Conservative MP, saying that I have chased both the Charity Commission and responsible ministers as to why the Charity Commissioner's inquiry, which commenced in August 2020, has not yet to conclude. It seems bizarre that the investigation of a charity with just £1.6 million of income, patently uncomplicated, has taken so long. Last November, several months before Clare Moseley's departure, the charity advertised for a new CEO, offering a salary of £60,000 to £70,000 a year. That's not a bad salary for a charity CEO. But then, what's happened now with Clare Moseley? What's the latest update on Clare Moseley for those who are interested to know? She obviously was the founder, then she left, then she was appointed as the chair of the charity, and then on the 12th of May this year, so last week, she then left. She quit. She resigned 1 month after her appointment as chair. So this is what we're dealing with. By the way, for those who are not familiar with the work of Care4Calais, these people are taking money from British people, hardworking British people, by manipulating them and using emotions to say, hey, we have to help humanity, right? When it comes to what they're doing in this country, well, this is what they're up to. On their website, they have all these guidances and everything else saying, well, here's how to make housing refugees easier in Britain to make things more comfortable. So as long as you illegally enter the country, they want to be able to get the British taxpayer and British people in general to be so generous and welcoming, just give up their houses and give it to the foreigners who come here illegally without going through a proper process. Because if they just self-identify as an asylum seeker, then you have to respect their self-ID. Now that's what they're doing here. They're also taking British money to do something in France. Yes, they're very obsessed with their work in France as well. They are saying, support our emergency appeal for more tents for refugees. So they're also getting money to make things comfortable for the illegal migrants who are going to spend their money to give it to the people smugglers to get on a boat. So they already have money. They give the money to people smugglers, but they don't have money for a tent. So Clare Moseley's Care4Calais will ask the British people to pay for their tents. Are you following this, yeah? And then you have nutters like Mick Lynch who go out there and make speeches saying we should allow everybody to come into the country, regardless of how they get here, plane or a lorry or a small boat. He said, literally, and I quote, there is no such thing as illegal migration. Everybody should be welcome here. Everybody should get a free house and a free job and full rights like a British citizen. I wonder why he's saying that. Oh, yes, because more of them could join your movement, you commie, and then you can bring down the system. This is how they do destruction. You bring down the system, you start from scratch, and you rebuild the system as your utopia, or as what I will always say, dystopian future. So that's the latest on the Care4Calais and Mick Lynch and their crazy ideology. Now, what is the government doing? I mean, they seem to be all over the place, aren't they? We had Rishi Sunak flying to Iceland to talk to European judges to tell them, please do not stop us from deporting migrants, illegal migrants. Please allow us to control our borders. And they told him to go away. They referred him to Ursula von der Leyen, yes, the president of the Commission. And they decided to get together, have a meeting, and then they briefed the paper saying, okay, let's just go to the media and say that the European Union and the United Kingdom have agreed to boost cooperation to tackle illegal channel crossings, to basically shut us up for a little bit, to basically say, hey, if we just do this, the British public will calm down slightly. Are they going to do anything? How many times do we have to hear that there's some sort of cooperation agreement, some sort of new deal we have with the EU or with France or someone? This keeps happening. They keep briefing the papers, they're doing something about it, but nothing actually happens, and we repeat the same cycle again. So according to Downing Street, they agreed, as in the EU and the UK, to strengthen cooperation between the two parties on migration through developing a new working arrangement between UK agencies and Frontex, enabling us to work together on critical operational and strategical challenges, including the situation in the Channel. UK and EU teams will now discuss the details of operationalization of this new working arrangement. Von der Leyen also went on Twitter and said that she expressed that the EU Commission's support for a future UK Frontex operation working arrangement is happening. Let's ask some questions. It's always good to question everything and everybody, right? Why is it in the interest of Ursula or the European Commission to help the UK, to ease the burden on the UK? Why not just allow more migrants to leave the continent of Europe, especially France, to come to the UK? Why is the European Union helping us? Why do they say they want to help us when they don't really want to help us with anything really post-Brexit? So I'm going to make a prediction here and say they have no intention of genuinely helping the United Kingdom protect its borders, because why would they? If I were the European Union, I wouldn't do it. If I had different interests, I wouldn't do it. And these people don't care about actual cooperation. These people are protectionist people. They have their own racket. They don't care about anybody who's not inside their club. And even if you want to deal with that club in Europe, you still have to obey. You obey and you obey. And this is the whole point. The only way I could see a situation where they will help us and cooperate with us on this is that they want something else from us. They want something new. They want us to agree on more agreements on the EU Defence Union, the EU Army, for example. Or it could be something else. Or it could be more international aid. Or it could be more judiciary and the European Court of Justice in the United Kingdom. It could be anything. Just don't trust the EU when it comes to negotiations. That's always been my advice. Anyway, let me know what you think. We also did 2 other shows at 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. today on the mainstream media and Sadiq Khan's Net Zero Nightmare. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.